Now let's bring in New South Wales SES Deputy Commissioner Deb Platz and Queensland's Acting Police Commissioner Shane Chelepy. Good morning to both of you. Deb, the SES has issued several evacuation warnings. Tell us what your message is to residents in those particular areas.
Yes, thank you and good morning. We're really urging people to heed the warnings. We've issued now nearly 100 warnings, and of those, 24 of them are emergency warnings, evacuate now, and in some instances we have given people a bit of a window. But this is an extremely dynamic and widespread system. It's wind, it's storms, it's flood surging, it's flash flooding, it's riverine flooding, and it's extremely unpredictable. So we need people to keep alert at all times, download the Hazards Near Me app so that they can actually get real-time information on what's changing in their local area. I'm hoping, as the SES and all our emergency partners are prepared, that the communities are also prepared, well stocked, and can now stay indoors unless they're under an evacuation warning.
Deb, tens of thousands of New South Wales properties and businesses are already without power right now. How concerned are you that they will become even more isolated as this weather system makes landfall, and how does that impact the job of your officials?
So we estimate at the moment there's about 15,000 residents without power. And we expect that this will rise during the day, but we also expect that this is going to be a long event. We know already from the Bureau that it's got at least 5 days of rainfall in this system coming into particularly northeast and northern New South Wales. So we need people, hopefully, to have heeded our warnings in the lead up to this event. As the SES and emergency services are so well planned, we have pre-positioned people, assets, we are ready for this, but we need the community to be ready. Please be mindful, please stay indoors whenever you can, unless you're under an emergency warning to evacuate.
Yeah, Shane, do your people stay inside during the crossing of the cyclone? Is there a point where you think it is too dangerous to go out? So people need to do what they can now and then stay indoors?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got warnings out to our community to prepare now, and as the weather deteriorates, we'll be asking people to stay indoors. We're starting to see that on the Gold Coast now. We're seeing winds down there of around about 100 kilometres an hour, and we're seeing torrential rainfall on the Gold Coast, large surf. So the message is to people is it's getting risky, and I don't want those people to take that risky behaviour. So stay indoors. Yeah, now's the time to go inside.
Yeah, it is getting riskier, as you say, and that window of destruction is getting longer and longer. That's a real concern, of course, as well. The time frame now of this system.
Yeah, and we are seeing those real impacts on the coast. Large waves, strong wind. We've got approximately 25,000 power outages, across Greater Brisbane and the Gold Coast already. We're starting to see trees now falling down. We're starting to see damage to roofs from trees. So we're starting to really feel the impacts, and those impacts will continue. In Brisbane today, we're starting to see the rain, and my brief is we'll start to see the winds pick up in Brisbane as well.
Shane, when you see people on the edge of the beach and on the edge of the walkways and they're getting hit by waves, what are you saying?
Well, it's risky behaviour. I know having a tropical cyclone is rare down this way, but it's not unheard of. But I understand people want to see that, but now's the time to go indoors. That's risky behaviour. Yep. We've seen a rescue of a skier, a rescue of a swimmer that we had to do CPR on. It's starting to become really risky out there now.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Deb, Shane, thanks very much for your time. Let's bring in North Stradbroke Island resident Trish Lake, whose home is set to be one of the first to feel the impact of Cyclone Alfred. Good morning to you, Trish. Give us a sense of what's happening there now.
Well, I think, like everywhere, we're all very uncertain or very worried. I've had to move out of my house. My dad has had to move out of his house, and that makes me a little emotional, given that he is almost 100 and he's never had to leave his house before, and he's lived there for well over 45 years. So here I am at just behind Main Beach, where a lot of the surf I can hear very loudly. The winds are not as strong as they were overnight. We didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but there seems to be a slight lessening of the intensity at the moment. Everybody's in touch with one another by texting. The power is still on, which is great. And of course, we're very worried about tonight when the winds, they'll move around to the north. And Stratty is generally pretty protected in the southerly, but in the northerly, that's a different story.
Oh, you can hear the emotion in your voice, Trish. I'm so sorry you have to do this.
Well, you know, I would have left the island, frankly, but Dad didn't. He doesn't even like leaving his house, you know, under an emergency, let alone leaving the island. So, unfortunately, we have an apartment. The family has an apartment. The tourists weren't here this week, so it was empty. And so Dad and I are bunkering down here. We're feeling safe, but worried. We're worried about our houses, and we're worried about just how bad it's going to be, because it may not be as bad as everyone's predicting. My little house is on the other side of the island, and it's right on the waterfront, and coastal surges are forecast for there tonight with a high tide. And Dad's place is on a hill, and he's going to cop the northerly when it swings round, and that can be quite ferocious, and there's a lot of glass in his house. He's very worried about what might happen. But I think the main thing is we're safe, and people here on the island have taken it very seriously. We're very concerned about the animals. You know, I was speaking to wildlife rescue Minjerribah, and they were saying that the koalas are unsettled. They haven't experienced this sort of feeling before. So a lot of the wildlife on the island is disturbed, and we're hoping that, you know, the devastation, if there is any, won't be affecting them as much as maybe some of our houses, which obviously we're concerned about.
Yep, well, as you say, the main thing is that you are safe, your dad is safe as well. A very nervous wait ahead for those other residents on Stradbroke Island. Thanks very much for your time, Trish.
We're thinking about you, Trish. Good luck.